I spent so long on that. To start off the video, I have a couple of genuine questions I want to ask you guys. It seems like in the past 5 years, ever since the emission standards, you know, probably actually more than that. When was it, like 13, 12, 13, 11? Anyways, the past few years, ever since the emission standards have been pushed, it seems like equipment has gotten a lot more unreliable. Not just, you know, I'm not brand bashing anybody. It's across the board. Every brand, different pieces of equipment. It doesn't matter whether it's a tractor, a payloader, a skid steer, pickups, semis, cranes, you name it. It seems like anything that has had emission standards pushed on it is a lot more unreliable. Now this is just kind of, you know, from our own experience and what I've read and heard from neighbors and online. I'm curious to see if you guys have had many issues at all, or if you guys have had no issues whatsoever. So leave a comment down below for that. And then also, if you farm or do construction or anything that involves large equipment, what is one of the best pieces of equipment that you've ever owned is in terms of comfort and reliability, and what is one of the worst? I'm honestly curious, because my dad and I have a conversation about this the other night, talking about some of our best and worst, and I'm curious to see what your guys' is. You know, I don't care how old or how new it is, I'm honestly curious to see what people say is their best and worst, and see if it lines up with some of the stuff that we were talking about. With that, I gotta go fix the payloader, because over the past few days, a rodent has gotten into it and made an absolute mess of the wiring harness. So let's head over to their place and go check that out. So in the last video, when I showed this to you guys, I didn't know whether someone had cut them or it was an animal that chewed on them. Well, now that I really look at it, it's an animal that chewed on them. And I know it's an animal now because over the weekend, the animal came back and chewed like 5 more wires. So not only do I have to replace the wires to go to the starter, I have to replace wires in the wiring harness, which is way back there. It's always something, you know, it's nothing can ever be simple. But my uncle brought some of his electrical tools from home, so let's see what he's got here. Okay, heat gun, which is necessary because we got these solder joints, which are fantastic. I love these things. And a bunch of connectors. And are these, yeah, wire strippers. And I got some electrical tape and stuff in my pickup. So hopefully I can figure this out. The worst problem is that when they painted this payloader, they painted over all the wires. So you don't know what wire actually goes to what because they're all yellow. So I think it's going to be kind of a trial and error thing. I'll work on it for a little bit and I'll report back to you guys. If you guys have any idea what kind of animal can cause that much destruction, let me know down in the comments below, because we got to figure out a way to get rid of this thing. You know what the worst problem is that, okay, so I got one connection made. Now I know the wires are going to be the same color. I don't have 8 different wire colors, but I need an extension cord from the shed to here to use the heat gun, but they chewed through the freaking extension cord. So now I have to head back to our shop, grab a couple of extension cords so I can use the heat gun to fix that, and then I gotta fix this extension cord later. Freaking varmints. Hopefully that's enough. I'm saved, guys. I don't have to drive back, get another extension cord, because I just learned that our work truck is here and it has a generator on it. All this work and I still don't have anything connected. Well, I got most of the wiring harness put back together. I'll show you guys it in a little bit, but there's a few wires I'm not for sure where they go because they're all the same color. So I got the 544C technical manual. This thing is huge, and I'm going to try and figure out where in the heck this stuff goes. Well, this one helps me a lot. Tag and disconnect 5 wires. Remove hex nuts. Install new relays and connect wires as tagged. You painted over the tags! Alright, I found my switch in the schematic. But like, I don't know. I'll figure it out. Okay, so I sat and I studied that schematic and I finally think I figured out which wires go where. This is my jumbled mess of a wiring harness that I made, and don't mind all the same colored wires. If another animal decides to chew through this, we're getting a new wiring harness. So, batteries reconnected, nothing started on fire yet. Let's see if I made her work. Gotta find the key first. Yes! Woo! I spent so long on that. My goodness. And nothing's on fire. Do you hear this? I got it running. I started it and then I did a victory lap around the farm. And yeah, now I'm just sitting here staring at my accomplishments. I'll get there and I'll wait for you. Alright. Okay, we do have a problem though, because I use solder joints next to the exhaust. We're gonna have to put some kind of reflective tape around it, but it's cool enough today. I think if I just leave the little flappy deal open for the few miles to the shop, it should stay cool enough that they shouldn't melt. You know, that's probably one of my favorite things about farming, is getting something that's totally not working at all, spending most of the day on it, and look at that! Made her! And she's still running, and no fires. Guys, you have no idea how worried I was about fire. Alright, well, I really don't want an animal to eat that all again, so I'm gonna put it inside for the night. And the door's locked. You know what I haven't brought you guys in a while? A truck update. So I've had the truck since early February, late January, somewhere in there. And so far, the only thing that I've changed to it is I put an Apple CarPlay radio in it. So that way I can control my phone on my radio while I'm on the road. Much nicer than the stock, whatever. But I'm not really planning on changing a whole lot in the pickup. I'm kind of a keep it stock or a stock plus guy, you know, because, well, they engineered it darn well the way it is. At the current moment, I'm only planning on changing 2 more things. First of all, getting rid of the tow mirrors. I actually have a set of heated power fold mirrors back in the corner of the shed. I just haven't had time to replace them yet. And today, I'm gonna install a catch can. So I don't really know enough to give you guys in-depth explanation on how catch cans work, but the basics of it is it hooks up to your PCV line, which is your positive crankcase ventilation line, I'm pretty sure. So basically, if there's positive pressure in your crankcase, it pushes that back into the intake. Now sometimes oil can get in there, and you don't want oil going back in your intake and going back in your engine. That's how you get a dirty engine. So I hook it up here and back there, and basically all it does is it intercepts that air oil mixture. It has this little element right here which catches the oil and puts into this little can, which I can dump out every 1,000 miles or so. They're not really that necessary, but for the 150 bucks I pay for it, I figure if I can get another 100,000 miles out of this thing, and this can save me any repairs whatsoever, it's definitely worth the money. So this should be a pretty easy installation. I already have the bracket right there on the side of the alternator, and then this just screws right in the top of that, and then I just gotta hook these hoses up. We'll see. Okay, so now the shorter hose goes up here next to the intake, and the longer hose goes way back there next to the crankcase. So, in order to install this correctly, I actually got to cut that line, and I did buy an extra line just in case I somehow screw this up. But it should be fairly simple. There we go. So now that just goes underneath the engine cover like so. Now here's the point that I'm always scared of. When I turn it on, will my truck freak out? This is a good rated catch can, that's what it's called, but I'm always worried. No lights on. Whew, I think we're okay. So I'm at 90,300, I didn't even know I hit 90,000 miles. I'm at 90,378 miles. So when I hit around 91,500, I'll try to give you guys an update on how much it's actually caught.